Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement, guys. We just finished analyzing Ret versus Flash, games 1, 2, and 3. Catch those VODs of the full games, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. Of course, past Rules of Engagement episodes, past everything from MLG is on there at 1080p quality. Now we're on to the Q&A section. The first question is going to be from Brian Escobar, and it's, how do you fight a Sky Toss in PvP with Ground Army? Composition and position tips. So, a lot of people talk about how strong Sky Toss is in PvP. It's all air versus air. And if you had a no-rush half hour, that'd be absolutely true. The best tuner for your army would be Sky Toss, but it would also actually involve Templar. Because Templar get really good if it's mass air versus mass air. I would highly suggest, first of all, check out the MC versus Hero VOD of the Winter Championships. I think it was game 1, 2, or 3. One of those games. Check them out, because one of the games was the one on Akalon Waste from the MLG Winter Championships, MC versus Hero round 1. CJ Hero, that is. CJ Hero went the air army, or not pure, because you can't really get to that. It's pretty hard in an actual game. And MC defeated it with ground composition. And some of the key things there is, one, if they're using a significant number of Void Rays, minimal Stalkers. You want a few Stalkers to for the early and mid game, and also as the army is engaged, you can blink in from a weird angle and snipe the Void Rays if you're targeting something different. But if the Void Rays look at the Stalkers die, right? Like, the Stalkers just get crushed by Void Rays if there's a significant count. So, minimal Stalkers. Archons are great for tanking damage. Storm, as the air count increases, Storm is very important. If your opponent has a significant ground army, it's not even terrible to add a few Colossi. But Storm and Archons are very important. What do those two things have in common? Very gas intensive. So if you want to beat Sky Toss with a ground army, you have to have more gas income than them. But that's okay, because if you see they're going multiple Stargates, more than one Stargate, you should always be a base up on them if you're not going Stargates. Because it's going to take a while for the Stargates to produce a significant amount of air units. You've got several minute window where you're free to have total map control. Maybe you can't kill them because they're guarding choke point, they have photon overcharge, they have photon cannons, so maybe you can't kill them. But what you can do is you can take a very fast, even like 4th base, and have that gas advantage, make a whole ton of warp gates, always warp in extra units into battle, and overwhelm them by weight of numbers, zealots on the ground to kill the ground army, and then of course wear their air army down with repeated storms and additional warp-ins during the battle. So you gotta be base up. You do that by expanding. If they try to take an extra base to keep up with you, you should be able to kill it with mass warp gate timings, charge routes, and Archons before their extra production kicks in, so that you have a time window to get extra money. Next question is going to be from Dagoth and it says, at what times could a Protoss punish the 3rd saturation using a gateway push? So I think that's talking about PvZ, right? That's the only matchup I can see where that would really be coming up. So PvZ, a couple of great ways to punish Desert taking a 3rd base. There's 2 ways to do it. One is hit just a full, very committed timing attack where your goal is to kill a 3rd. If you don't kill it, you're going to be behind. 2 best timing attacks right now in Heart of the Swarm. 2 base Immortal. Go watch Party and play, copy his build, boom, done. Great build. Party vs. Sen, he did it on Newkirk City. So copy that. Party vs. Sen from the MLG Winter Championship. That was around a 16 match on Newkirk City, game number 4. Watch that build, copy it. That's a great time attack. Another one, use Void Rays and Gateway units. So you don't get the Robo. You get, right after you start your expansion, you start a Stargate. You build a Void Ray, use it to harass, build a 2nd Void Ray, a 3rd Void Ray. As your 2nd Void Ray is being built, add in 6 more Gateways. 7 Gateways, 1 Stargate, hit with 3 Void Rays, and a crap ton of Gateway units. You can often kill them. Those 2 timing attacks, option number 1. Option number 2, you do some pokes. So right after you get your expansion up, you see you're taking fast 3rd, go up to 3 or 4 Gateways, get Zealots, Sentries, Mothership Core, walk out to attack the 3rd. If they skip units, you can focus the hatchery. The roaches, if the roaches pop late and are coming to get you, use force field to keep those roaches back. You kill the hatchery, recall out, 2 base, 2 base. If they already have roaches out before you can even get to the 3rd base, then you back away. And you're fine, because they didn't actually saturate the 3rd if they got roaches that early. So either committed 2 base timing, a light push with a few gateways, use recall to escape once you force them not to make pure drones. Next question is going to be from Adam Hudson. It says, due to the increase in Reaper opening, Reaper into Hellions in ZVT, is that Spanishiwa 4 Queen delayed gas build effective? So the delayed gas mass queen openings in Zerg vs. Terran were getting fairly popular near the end of Wings of Liberty. A lot of the pro Koreans were really utilizing them a lot, especially Lucero really loved them. Heart of the Swarm, not quite as good. The reason why, Mass Queen's great at defending Hellion Harass. You throw in like Evo Chamber walls and 1 Spine Core, you're totally fine against straight up Hellion Harass. Weakness is actually the first 4 Reapers, because those Reapers will keep attacking your Queen. And your Queen will just sit there and eat it, right? And yes, the Queen will beat the Reaper, but what happens is when the Reaper's almost dead, he'll run away, regenerate, come back, and do it again. And eventually your Queens will die. Now, you could keep that Queen alive if you kept it behind a Spine Core, but then you can't spread the creep, right? If you're going to significant Queen openings, you really need to spread the creep. Against Reapers, it's insanely difficult to do that without losing Queens. So, not as good of an opening, because to deal with those Reapers, you really need speed leans to take the map control back, and you need map control to spread that creep. So, I would say it's not as good in Heart of the Swarm. It's still an okay opening. You can still do it, but if they're using Reapers, you really want the speed leans so you can push those Reapers back and spread your creep tumors without having to take too much damage on your Queens. Next question is going to be from Bagel Cake. And it's, what are the advantages and disadvantages of Biomine when compared to Marine Tank? So, advantage of Biomine, much better versus Mulus, because mines hit Mulus. Much more mobile, because you can run around with mines, and if speedings come in to snag your mine, maybe you lose a mine, but if you have Drilling Claws, it'll burrow instantly and kill the speeding. So, you can easily react to your opponent coming in on you much faster than you can with a Marine Tank. Because tanks move slower than mines, 2.25 versus 2.8 something movement speed. So they're slower, and they take a longer time to siege and unsiege, and they're more valuable. So if they get ambushed en route, it's a much bigger hit. So Biomine, much more mobile, much better against Mulus. Siege tanks, better against Zerglings and Banelings. Right? Siege tanks better versus Zerglings, Banelings. Biomines better against Mulus, better for mobility, and better against Vipers. One of the reasons why we've seen Biomine more common is because Siege tanks can be weak to Vipers later in the game, but also mostly because the increased power of the Mulus in Heart of the Swarm, mines are very good. The one thing I would suggest that I think Terrans haven't explored enough is you see a lot of Terrans will add in that 2nd and 3rd factory, but I think you should get both. A couple tanks is great to help versus Banelings. If the Zerg micros really well, it's hard to get the Banelings with the Widow Mines. But the Widow Mines are really great in the late game against Ultralists. They're better against tanks. They're better against Vipers. And of course, they help out against the Mulus as well. So I think you should get both. But tanks are better versus Banelings. Mines are better versus pretty much almost anything else. So that's it for the questions. Thank you guys for watching Rules of Engagement. We'll be back again on Monday, starting with the winter exhibition match. I think it's going to be Sase versus Hero on Monday, and then it's going to be followed by the Rules of Engagement. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on Monday.